Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Porsche Clearwater, and guess what? I have that iconic German sports car that's getting a few changes for 2025. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Porsche 911 Carrera S, and this is the generation known as the 992.2. But before we get into this updated evolution of the mighty 911, let's talk about what's going on here. Crazy to think, you go back to the 1960s and that was the birth of the 911. Even crazier to think that at one time in Porsche's history, they wanted to kill off the 911 and replace it with the Porsche 928. That's that car that if you saw the movie Risky Business in the 1980s with Tom Cruise, that's the one that he actually went into a lake with and had all sorts of issues. But what's fascinating is at the last minute, they decided to keep the 911, and here it is in all its glory. Now the 911, unlike pretty much almost every other car out there on the market, has truly been an evolution. Even though the vehicle has grown in size, grown in technology, grown in horsepower, it still has that familiar shape of the 911. But like I said, for 2025, we now have updates with the 992.2 chassis. So what I want to find out is this the must-have new sports car going Carrera S? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this black beauty and find out. Right off the bat, the black with the black wheels just really makes this car look so sinister, yet so elegant all at the same time. At the front of the business, you're gonna see the evolution in headlight design. Still keeping with that round oval shape, you're gonna see the all-new LED daytime running lamps and LED headlights. Love the way everything is encased in the headlight housing for the 992 chassis. Unlike last year's 992.1, the turn signals are now built into the headlight housing. Before, they used to be in the front nose area, separate from all the other lighting. Now it's all one unit to give it a cleaner look. With the lower corner, you'll see those massive corner air intakes. Look, I mean, you can literally take a couple Florida oranges and just roll them in there to help keep all the temps down. Love the way they sculpted around that opening. And this particular 911 Carrera S has been optioned with the full aero kit. So you're gonna see some extra aero up front that's unique, but also wait until we get to the rear. Now, as we come across that mid-nose section, unmistakable, but there are some new changes. You'll see these functional corner air intakes. Love the way they're sculpted in that sort of standing rectangular shape. The one zonk I have, though, is there's no functionality in the center. This one does have the optional forward-facing camera and the all-new night vision. But I wish that this center area was functional. If you go 911 Turbo or Turbo S, it is functional, just not on this Carrera S. And you'll see that nice long splitter to help stop as much air as possible going underneath the car to create lift. It wants to create downforce. That's what that splitter is there for. But let me know what you think about the new shape of the nose with this aero kit and with this being a 992.2 generation vehicle. Now, as we rise up, that metal flake, just like your grandpa's bowling balls, his big old balls, you got tons of flake in it. The updated Porsche crest, Stuttgart, Germany. Love the colors, love the history behind that badge. And then as we come around the bend on this Carrera S, what are we working wheel and tire setup? All new wheels. Really digging the V-spoke design. It's taken a little bit of growing on me, but I'm starting to like the way you have this raised edge all the way around the perimeter, exterior perimeter of the wheel. 20-inch wheel, tires are 245 on the width, 35 series sidewall. You can see those nice large gloss black painted 6-piston Brembo calipers with our cross-drilled 2-piece rotors. This does come with PASM, Porsche Adaptive Suspension Management System, and it also comes, of course, with the sport exhaust, with this being an S. Now, the way the designations go in Porsche world is you start off with a Carrera T. That's your entry level. Then you go Carrera, Carrera S, GTS, Turbo, Turbo S, GT3, GT3 RS. Try to keep that all in your head. There's over 25 different trims of the 911 that are available. Absolutely crazy. But let me know what you think about the black on black look with our black calipers, black wheels, with our metallic black beauty. We do have the clear side marker lights. Normally these are yellow, but that's an option to get them in clear. Coming down the side, we got exposed carbon fiber on the mirror caps, real deal carbon fiber. And you'll notice up top, we have our panoramic sunroof style. Our sunroof style, that's all glass, will open up nicely. Of course, just like the 992.1, we have our flush door handles, flush mounted door handles. And then the aero kit gives you that extra side skirt extension along the bottom, everything painted that beautiful black. Love the quarter glass. This gives it that iconic 911 shape. And then looking at the rear wheels and tires, you are getting the Brembos, just like up front, 4-piston out back, 6-piston up front. Tires are a little bit wider, so 305 on the width, 30 series sidewall, and this is a 21-inch wheel. So the wheels are actually staggered, 20-inch up front, 21-inch wheels out back. You do have an electronic limited slip diff because this car is rear-wheel drive to get the power to the ground. And speaking of the rear, as we swing it around, I love that sexy flared fender. Oh my God, I just want to jump on it and just rub my body all over it. It's so beautiful. Normally the Carrera S does not have this rear wing. This is the apex. This is the climax of the aero kit. You get this fixed pedestal wing. Almost looks like it's right off of a GT3, to be honest with you. Love the full functionality. You're still gonna have all the air going into that flat 6 twin turbocharged engine, but with the aero kit, you're gonna get all that extra downforce. We have the full clear updated taillights. These are new for 2025. Everything has been clear. That is an optional thing. Blacked out on the badging, also an option with the 911 Carrera S. And then going down to ground level, like I said, when you go Carrera S, you get the sport exhaust. So those are the black tips, oval opening, functional on both sides. They do get louder, they do get quieter, depending on how many people you want to piss off. And I like the way they work this lower diffuser area. That's really, really extra aggressive compared to the previous gen. But why don't we go ahead, we'll pop this back little hatch here and see what the heck is going on with the engine. All right, guys, unfortunately the zonk is on these new 911s is you can't see anything when it comes to that flat 6. I did pop the rear cover here, and what you're going to be able to notice are the twin cooling fans and that 3.0 S badge. Now, I know some of you wish that you had an overall GPA of a 3.0 back in high school, but that's not what we're talking about in this car. We're talking about a flat 6 that's twin turbocharged. It's been like that for a few years now. You're looking at, for 2025, more horsepower. So we have 3-liter flat 6 twin turbocharged engine, 473 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed PDK, that's a dual clutch transmission, 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, quarter mile in 11 seconds flat, and a top speed of 191 miles an hour. If you're curious about MPGs, these are the numbers: 18 in the city, 24 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs right around 3,500 pounds. So, like I was saying, sad that you can't see the engine, but the great news is there's still a flat 6, and to help with that overall torque distribution, that's why they added the small turbos, twin turbo setup. This is totally separate from a 911 Turbo and Turbo S. If you go 911 Turbo or Turbo S, you're getting much larger turbos and you're getting that all-wheel drive. But why don't we go ahead, we got the Carrera S, we got that sport exhaust, let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 911 Carrera S. Nice to see that when it comes to Porsche and their evolutionary changes, it's not just an aesthetic thing. It includes more horsepower as well. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, does that mean that there is a new price for the Carrera S? Yes, there is. Starting MSRP is right around $146,000. Most Porsche buyers usually spec between $30,000 to $50,000 in options on average. This one falls in that average. You're looking at a total MSRP with the options, $188,000. But let's see if this Carrera S is the one to get. To the door panels. Love the way this one is spec'd with the dark red, full leather interior, great stitch work, all needlepoint perfection. You'll notice the optional carbon fiber within the trim. No gloss black anywhere. You got a nice little nook at the bottom of the door panel to put your track day Twinkies, a whole 8 of them. And we have the Bose sound system. Now going from the door panel to the dash, full leather, the whole dash, carbon fiber throughout. This is one of those options. Slide on in, Carrera S gets the Sport Chrono Clock up top with that little red hood there. And then dropping down, you get the same 10.25-inch infotainment system. Very easy to use, very, very intuitive, very quick reacting. So you can see how you can make all your changes right off the screen and show it, including all your climate control as well. So anything can be done through the screen. Let me throw it into reverse. Backup camera, clear as day. We have the optional 360-degree cameras. Nice to have that. And the trajectory lines for when you're backing up at Cars and Coffee into your spot. And then we're right back where we started. Metal toggle switches for your sport exhaust, the sport suspension with PASM. You got your AC vents, and then we do have real switch gear for our dual climate control, real knobs for the audio control, and then this thing that looks like a Norelco razor, this controls your 8-speed PDK. My zonk is the amount of gloss. This should be carbon fiber. If you're carbon fibering here, I want some carbon fibering down there. And I know carbon fibering is not a real word. It should be a real word. And it should mean putting carbon fiber in a car. Got the 911 badge, that looks great. We do have optional ventilated seats, 3 stages, and 3 stages of heated seats. And then these are the controls for our sunroof. This is not a cup. This is actually the no-cost smokers package. It's an ashtray. Love the carbon fiber here. See, this should be here. Let me shut this off, it's kind of loud. Now we work our way back. You're gonna get leather on the armrest, open it up, wireless charging, 2 USB-Cs. And this vehicle is equipped with the 18-way adjustable seats. You got the Porsche crest embossed on the headrest. Love the clean design with the red leather, all the easy to access seat controls. And then yes, 911s do have a rear seat. We move the seat forward. You're either gonna be Gumby or Teddy Ruxpin to sit back here, but it is full leather. This one has the extended leather package throughout the whole back of the vehicle, and you get the red carpet with the red seats. But why don't you go ahead, oh, I almost forgot. How did I forget this? You do have that power shade for our sunroof, which, there we go. Should open up right about now. Sooner or later, you'll get it right. So there's your power sunshade for your sunroof. But why don't you go ahead, get your booty over here. I want to show you, we're gonna love rubbing your hands all over, coming over the business end. I want to show you the wheel in this 911. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You got that beautiful carbon fiber sill plate with 911 Carrera S, illuminates at night. Pedal box right out of a freaking race car. Nice size dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. I would have optioned in the aluminum pedals. So I'm not gonna zonk it because there is an option. I would have just done it. I would have just pulled the trigger. Seats are comfy and supportive. and they really hold you in nicely. I'm 6 feet tall. Let me see if I can lower this seat anymore. I could actually lower it just a little bit. Even with the sunroof, you got plenty of room. Steering wheel, look at this. Race Tex material, carbon fiber on the wheel. Love the drive mode selector switch. You push that button, you're gonna get a little bit of overboost to give you that extra fast getaway. And because this has the PDK, you do have paddles on the back of the wheel that are metal. And this is an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel. New for 2025 though, the Zonk, no more twist ignition. It's just a start-stop button. But at least it still is on the left of the steering wheel ever since day one on the 911. And then gone are all analog gauges. You now have a tachometer in the center with your full 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. You can see on the right how you can scroll through your different modes. And then you can also scroll through information as well within each of the displays, which is kind of nice as well. But I prefer having some type of analog tachometer. That would have been the cat's meow. But other than that, that perfect environment for going on throttle. I'm not showing you the frunk. I don't give a damn. You can put stuff underneath it. Great. I'd fill it up with Twinkies. What I'm ready to do, I want to go on throttle in this Carrera 911. Let's go ahead and hit the road. All right, guys, we're leaving Porsche Clearwater. We're inside this 911 Carrera S. And right away, what you're gonna love is the familiar surroundings. But on top of that, now having the digital gauge cluster, it does take away that nice analog tach feel. But other than that, you still got a ton of information, more information than what you had on the 992.1 dash. Seats are comfy, supportive, and really probably the most popular seat option. The only other seat upwards is going to be the carbon buckets, which are going to have that overall extra grip, and that's what is really the seat of choice, so to speak. Sorry, I was having a hard time thinking because a beautiful orange GT3 RS just passed us by, so I was getting a little discombobulated with all that. But everything is well sorted in here, as it should be. I mean, it's gone unchanged for so long, and the way that this one is spec'd with the red interior really gives it a wonderful color contrast between the two, which is great. But steering wheel has a great feel to it. I love the way they don't do flat bottom steering wheels or anything like that. It's just a small round wheel, as it should be, and those paddles are right behind the wheel. We're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna hit the M button. That's gonna allow me to manually shift with the paddles once the light turns green, which I can't wait for that to happen, because we're gonna do launch control and really show you how this thing accelerates. You ready? On throttle, here we go. Look at this. The sound of that flat six is so unique. And then launch control is so easy. You just hold down the brake with your left foot, hold down the throttle, release brake, and you are off to the races. I love looking in the side mirrors and seeing that flared fender of the 911. And it's just so pure. The car is just so pure when it comes to handling, when it comes to the shifts. Very smooth downshifts, very smooth upshifts. You do have a gear indicator in the center of the tach. Look at this. Nice. All the way around. On throttle, here we go. Remember, I'm hitting those metal paddles perfectly sized behind the wheel. Visibility is great. It's just, it makes so much sense. And to be honest with you, the rear wing of the aero kit, it blocks some visibility, but not as much as, say, a GT3. So I say if you like the look, go for it. And it's always going to be a compromise, right? You can't have a large rear wing and have perfect visibility. That's like pretty much impossible. But you do have really good visibility. You ready? Second gear, on throttle, on the brakes. Woo, woo. All the way around. Look at this. Golly. Love the sound, the feel, the performance suspension with PASM, and just so intuitive how the steering feels. It shows you why Porsche has won more 24 Hours of Le Mans, Sebring, so many different championships. It just, the list goes on and on and on, because Porsche just keeps evolving and making things so much better with each generation. Here we go, look at this. Yee-hoo! Now, the one side note is that for 2025, there is no manual available. It used to be in the past that a Carrera had no manual, and then you would step up to a Carrera S to be able to get a manual. This has no manual transmission. If you want a manual on the new 992.2 and you're not going GT3, you gotta go Carrera T. So something to think about with getting a manual if that's what you want. But let's go on throttle again. You ready? Second gear, on throttle. Look at this. Look at this. Wow. The performance of this car, just, it's one of those things that you gotta drive it. If you want cars that have more flash, I guess you could go with a Z06, of course. You could go with Ferrari, Lamborghini, but these cars are just so dialed in perfectly that they're just amazing, absolutely amazing to drive. I mean, Porsche, there is no substitute. It's as simple as that. And like I said, this particular car has night vision, so new technology on your sports car. Those downshifts, smooth as silk. But of course, we have to get back. We got to get back to Porsche Clearwater. I want to keep driving this thing, but they need their car back. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at Porsche Clearwater. Always love coming here to drive any of the Porsches, especially this 2025 911 Carrera S. Let me know what you think. Are the changes worth it at the end of the day to make this the must-have sports car of 2025? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, think you're being part of the Razor Rights family, got to give it up to Latte Lori. She lives by the latte. She dies by the latte. But you know what? She's in control of that camera, strong and secure because of all the lattes she had today. Hence the name Latte Lori. So thank you, Lori, for caffeinating up and bringing your awesome camera work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.